Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be solving today's lead code question, which is minimum remove to make a valid parenthesis. So we are given a string which will consist of opening brackets and then closing brackets, and then there will be some alphabets which is lowercase letters only, and then we need to remove the minimum number of parentheses such that it will be a valid string. That means valid string in the sense it can be empty string. Suppose let's say we remove all the characters which are present in the string, then that becomes a valid string, and then contains only lowercase letter. That means it can be empty, or it can be consisting of only letters, and then it can be consisting of the valid string which is concatenated. Suppose let's say the valid string is which will consist of these two brackets, and then again one more this is valid string, and then this is also valid string, and then let's say it can be written as like this. Suppose let's say I have a character which is b. Now b is a valid string. Why? Because it contains a lowercase letter, and then it is enclosed by this particular brackets which is valid string, and then these two brackets is also valid string. Suppose let's say I had one more opening bracket here, then this becomes invalid string. Why? Because it has a closing bracket, but it doesn't have any opening bracket. So if I remove this particular bracket, then this becomes a valid string. Suppose let's say we have these two these two as our closing brackets. Now if I remove all the brackets which are present, then this becomes b, but we need to remove only minimum number of brackets such that it will be a valid parenthesis. So if I remove only these two, then this becomes valid parenthesis. Suppose let us take some particular one example, and then we'll see how we can solve this particular example. So let's say this is the given string, and then we need to return such that it will have only valid parenthesis and it is a valid string. Now at this particular case, we need to make sure that the number of opening brackets and then closing brackets are same. And then let's say suppose if you have that particular case, then I can have like this is two closing brackets and then two opening brackets, but the number of closing brackets and the opening brackets are same, but this is not a valid string. So we need to check, for one opening bracket we should have one closing bracket. That means suppose let's say these are two opening brackets, we need to have two closing brackets for this, and then we can ignore the characters which are present. Suppose let's say I have like this, and then again I have one more opening bracket. This is the string. Now this is not a valid string because we need to remove this, and then we need to remove this, then this becomes valid string. Why? Because this doesn't have a closing bracket, and then this doesn't have a closing bracket. So for this we are going to use some count variable which will give us the result for this. Suppose let's say I'll take count equal to 0 as of now, and then it is going to contain it is going to contain the number of opening brackets as of now, and then which will match at this particular point. Suppose let's say I have I equal to here, as of now. Now I'll count the count variable which is going to be 1 as of now. This is not going to be 1. Why? Because this is a closing bracket, so we'll decrement at the closing bracket. As we already don't have opening bracket as of now, so the count will be 0. So for this, whenever we have count equal to 0 and then this is a closing bracket, we cannot match with the opening bracket. So that's why we need to remove this particular string. We need to remove this particular character. So we are going to mark this particular character as star, so that whenever we come back again, we can say that this particular character will not be taken into consideration. That means this particular character we do not want to calculate our answer. So and then again we'll move to this particular character which is closing bracket and then count equal to 0. Again we are going to mark it as star, and then again we are going to go through L, So as this is a character, we can directly take this, and then for E as well. And then we have a opening brackets. For this we are going to take this opening bracket, and then T, for this we are going to take, and then when we have a opening bracket, we need to increase the count to 1. And then again we got another opening bracket which is here. So we are going to say the count will be 2. Now we'll move I2 here, then the character will be added, and then again we'll move to here. So at this we are going to say this will be added, and then C will be added. Now at this particular point we need to decrease the count. So we are going to decrease the count. Why? Because we have a closing bracket, and then count is not 0. So we are going to decrement this, and then we are going to add this particular character. Let's say this is O. This character will be taken, and then again we have a closing brackets where count is not equal to 0. So we'll decrement count, and then we'll add the closing bracket, and then again we'll take DE. So we are going to take DE, and then again we are going to have the closing bracket which is this one. So as of now the count is 0, so we do not have any opening bracket which will have the valid parenthesis, so that this will be matched to the opening bracket. So we need to remove this closing bracket so that it will be a valid parenthesis. That's why we are going to put the star. Now for these characters we are going to add all the uh, all these opening brackets. Suppose if we look at this particular solution, we have uh, we have one more problem, which is these opening brackets. These opening brackets doesn't have any closing brackets which will give us a valid string. So for this we need to mark this as, like, we'll mark this as again star, and then we are going to remove all the stars. So as we have already seen, the count will be counted to 4. Why? Because these, whenever we have this add this opening bracket, then we are going to increase the count. So for this it is going to be 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So now I'll start from the end of this particular array, and then I'll visit each character which is present, and then let's say I have B as well here. Now, whenever I have count equal to 4, then I should not change only the 4 characters which are like last of the characters, last of the string. I need to change the characters which are opening brackets, and then those should be to the right. That means I'm going to check. I'm going to check the while condition where I need to remove count minus minus. For this I am going to check this should be greater than 0, and then every character should be S of I should be open, and then for this open I am going to decrease the count. So so just remember that will will only take out the character, we'll only take out the opening brackets, and then we will not touch any characters which are present with using the variable of 4. And then at last we have this particular string which is going to be like this. So this is going to be same as this with slight modification by changing this count 4 to 3 stars, and then again this is going to be one more star, and then again we are going to have we are going to erase this particular we are going to erase this particular star. So for erasing we are going to use two pointers, which is going to be left and then right. Suppose let's say I have left here and then right again here. Now I'll take this particular character, and then if it is a star, then I'm going to move to next element, and then whenever I see which is not a star, then I'm going to add to here, and then E2 here, and then again E2 here, and then again opening bracket to here, and then again like this. So suppose at the starting I'm going to add here it is going to be L, E, and then again E, it is going to be E and then T, and then opening bracket C, and then we are going to have O, and then again closing bracket, and then D, and then E, and then B. So this is going to be our characters, including other characters as well. Suppose let's say here this will end at this particular point, this should end, but we have all other characters, which is going to be E star star star, and then again B, and then again star. So we need to remove these chunk characters which are present. So for that we are going to count the remove size. So whatever the number of characters which we need to remove, that we are going to store, and then we are going to pop each by one element at a time, and then at last we are going to reach at this particular point, and then we are going to return this particular string. So for this, if we come to the time and space complexity, the time complexity is going to be big of n, and then we are not using any extra space, so it is going to take only big of 1 as a space complexity. So let's go through the code once. So this is somewhat lengthy code, but we are not using extra space, that's why it became lengthy code. So we are going to count the opening brackets, and then we are going to decrease the number of opening brackets by whenever we are seeing the closing bracket. Suppose let's say if there is a opening bracket, then I am going to increment the number of opening brackets, and then let's say if it is a closing bracket, then if the number of opening brackets as of now which will match is 0, then that means we need to remove this particular character which is present, which is the closing bracket. So we are going to keep it as star, and then we are going to increase the number of remove size. So we are going to increase that, and then let's say the count is not 0, that means we can decrease this particular count variable, and then we can match those characters which is opening bracket and then closing bracket, and then we are going to move to the next iteration. We'll do till end of the string, and then at last there can be a case where we'll have only opening brackets. That means we need to remove those opening brackets as well. For that we are going to take the while count greater than 0, and then when let's say s of I becomes opening bracket, then we need to remove that particular opening bracket by keeping s of I equal to star, and then we are going to decrement the count, and then we are going to decrement the I as well. Suppose let's say after completion of this, so here we have this particular case where it is going to have star star LE, and then we need to have this particular star star again. We'll mark all of these brackets as star. Why? Because it doesn't have any closing brackets, so we are going to mark that. After that we are going to use pointers method, like we'll take left and then right, and then we'll add all the characters to the left, so that it will be added at the starting of the characters, and then we'll remove all the characters which are present at the right side of the array, which is not required as of now and which we want to remove. So for this, time complexity is going to be big of n, and then space complexity is going to be big of 1. Yeah, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching the video.